You don't need a better script. You don't need a better plan. You don't need more time. You probably don't even really need much more clarity. What you need is to take action. And the action starts by asking this one simple question that's going to revolutionize everything you do in your life and in your business. It's going to flip the script on you. It's going to make all the difference. And it's going to help you be clear, consistent, and connect, because you're going to start from the heart and the soul of a giver by asking and continuing to ask and integrating into your life this one question. And that question is, how can I help you today? Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of now 39 books and counting, and I help people write, publish, market their books to bestseller and everything that goes beyond that. But really, and here's the cool part about it, with all that I've done, what I really do is I help you become visible and valuable. I show you how to have that powerful clarity that changes everything, how to be clear, consistent, and connect heart to heart, soul to soul, so that you can, first and foremost, make the impact that you were meant to make. And secondly, you can have the profit and the connection that you absolutely positively need in order to be the person that you were absolutely created to be, to help, to serve, to make a difference that only you can make, and to more than anything, be what you were created to be in this world. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate the time, the effort, the energy, all that you've put in for all of your life to be you. As you grow, you learn, you prosper, and you do that stuff. You do it so well. In fact, here's the truth, and it's tough truth sometimes, but the true reality is the thing that people need more than anything else from you, that thing they're desperately dying for, it's probably something that's so easy for you that you haven't even thought to serve or share it. In fact, when we begin to just start simply using the question, how can I help you today? When we really say that, we truly mean it, and we then approach the world from that standpoint, from not the standpoint of what's in it for me, what can I do, if I do this sort of thing, can I con people into working me or working with me, or any of those kind of things, but we just simply, purely and completely ask the question, how can I help you today? You see, today I really want to talk to you about the 3 C's. And yes, the book came out yesterday. I'll drop the link. It's in the comments. If you haven't gotten it yet, please do. Please get the book. It's free for you in ebook form right now. And if and it's available in all the countries. So if you're in another country and you're listening, feel free to reach out and say, hey, what's the link for Canada? What's the link for the UK? I can tell you that all you got to do is replace the .com with .ca, and that's the same link. UK is .co.uk, and it's the same link. Australia is .com.au. Yeah, you can tell that I've worked quite a bit looking at links in Amazon, and I'm pretty familiar with them. I wanted to announce right off the bat, right off the top, thanks to you. And absolutely, it's thanks to you. I mean, yeah, it's my expertise, and yeah, I did all the SEO and all that cool stuff. But thanks to you, the book is now #1 bestseller. We're hoping that we can get it onto the international list and keep our streak of our books going, so that this will be number 39 of our #1 international bestsellers. We do have 100% success making books bestsellers. I don't guarantee that they'll be #1. I don't guarantee that they'll be #1 international, but I do absolutely strive for that and try to achieve that every single time, because that heart and soul and core of how can I help you today is the way that I show up in the world. It is who I am. It is how I want to live. And when I first started working on the book, I told the people in the company, you know, and I've told many, many people since, our company's motto is we give first, we give second, we give third, we give 10th, we give last. We are a company of givers. And every single one of us is, I mean, the people that work with me, they already are, they're massively giving people. When I come out online like this and I'm challenging you, hey, go live, do it today. Pick up your phone, do something, go live. Make a message, make a post, do the things. But really, just pick up your phone and just start talking to the people. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it's really, really easy to fake it in a post, in words. Oh, I care about you so much. I mean, you can even use the line, how can I help you today? And you could take and I'll even, if somebody is interested, I'll even make totally reusable memes that you can use and share. In fact, I'll probably do that today. I'll make a, hey, share this with everybody kind of meme today. I think I'm going to do that. But you can post it. You could have fancy, you could Giphy-ize it and have it be all dancing on the screen and doing all kinds of things. You could have one guy walking up to another guy saying, how can I help you today? And the other guy just hugging him and saying, oh, I just, and no, I don't have that level of graphic talent. I might be able to have AI make that for me, but, don't hold your breath for seeing that particular one. But you could put that word out and it doesn't necessarily connect. If you put it out constantly, and then if when people are asking you to help them, you're helping them, the word for that will get around. But the heart of who you are, the heart and soul and the core of who you are, as you think, as you are, as you speak, all that who you are, it's going to be who you're going to be seen as. It's going to be the way that people see you. I have a challenge for myself, and I'm going to say it to myself, to the screen, to you. Don't take this judgy at all, although I know some of you are in that same place. If you feel like you're the best kept secret, it's probably because you've been keeping yourself as a secret. And if you don't want to be the best kept secret, then what you got to do is stop whispering, stop being secret, and then just put it out there. I mean, that's what we've been doing now for the last 6-ish weeks or so, is we've just been coming on live every day, talking, sometimes yakking and rambling, whatever. I mean, I keep checking it with different levels of ChatGPT, and I should probably see if I can I don't know how I'd load that. I'd have to figure out a way to get the whole data set of everything that we've done and then load that data set into Claude, because Claude has a tendency sometimes to be a little bit cruel. I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm going to see if I can have ChatGPT make a data set that I could share with Claude of every live that we've done in the last 6 weeks, and then just have Claude rip me, because it tends to do that, and that'll be good for me too. But I mean, I'm doing it for one and only reason, and that's to lead the charge for you. I'm showing you what it takes to be visible, because if you want to be visible, you got to be visible. You see, I'm not just asking the question, how can I help you today? I'm doing everything that I can do that are my talents, my treasures, my things that I do, and I'm just giving it to you. If you went back and listened to all of them, there are a ton of gold nuggets. Okay. I've given away or offered ridiculously cheap in some of them. You'd have to go back and find them, opportunities to use. I have a 4 custom GPT set that will take you all the way from totally confused and lost to clarity on who you are and what you should be talking about. And we'll actually go all the way through and help you completely write your book. Now, I'm going to strongly suggest to you that what comes out of that, you're going to want to go through. And you're even probably going to want to bring on a story developer to kind of talk you through it. Story developers are amazing. And I'm not really intending to go off into book space, but I got to give credit to Judy and to the others of the story developers that I've worked with over the years, because they're amazing. They have that ability to go through the thing that you read, and you're reading it, and it's normal for all of us. Okay, so no judgment here, but you read it and you think it says XYZ, when in point of fact, it doesn't say that at all. It's very confusing. Maybe it's just grammatically not correct, but usually it's, you started telling us the story about Aunt Jan, and then you never finished it. And now we're dying to know what happened to Aunt Jan. You can't leave us hanging like that. It's kind of like when you're talking. Many of you have seen me, I even rebroadcast my live when I did this. I was actually live in front of an audience. And you've heard me tell the story about my youngest daughter, and when she was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. Let me do the same thing that I do in those. Let me let you know, okay, that was 6 years ago. Well, no, in fact, actually, she's been married for 6 years. So that was 7 years ago. She's totally fine. She's in complete, total remission. In fact, in that world, they call her basically cured. And that's awesome, amazing news. She's married, has a great family, has 2 doggies, and is just living a really wonderful, wonderful life. But you see how I didn't just leave you hanging? I didn't just say, that time when my daughter was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, she was in complete organ failure. The doctors told us she wasn't going to make it. You see, I know how hard it can be for you to have that death toll sentence. And worse than if the doctor tells you you're going to die is if they tell you when one of your children are going to die. Now, what if I left the story there? What if I never told you what happened to Maya? What if I never told you that she's fine, she's made it through? She did 6 months in the hospital of chemo, and that was a horrible thing. But her then boyfriend, now husband, stuck through her with it all the way through. And they have an amazing family. It's just the two of them and their 2 doggies, which are their fur, our fur grandbabies. But it's just one of those kind of things. You want to know the end of that story. And the same thing's true when you're talking, when you're with people want to know that. And so, yeah, absolutely. I've given those as an opportunity for you to be able to go all the way through that whole process. I've gone everywhere in these lives, from offering them to you for free to extremely low costs. Those should be a couple $1,000s to go through all 4 of those. Even more so if you want to go with a story developer. But what I will offer to you today, $99. Okay, you can have all 4 of them. I'll even throw in with that, before you get started into it. Well, no, actually midway. So you'll do a couple of them. I want you to get that clarity on some of who you are, and then we're going to talk in more detail about who you are and who you're meant to serve before you jump in. In point of fact, what I'll do is I'll do that strategy session for you, included in that $99. Now, to give you an idea, if you just came off the street and you said, hey, what's your hourly rate? I quote people $1,200 an hour with a 3-hour minimum. Very rarely do I actually charge somebody that, but that's done on purpose, because the first person who needs to value you is you. When you say to somebody, how can I help you today? You need to inherently have a dollar value on that. You need to see and understand the value of your time, not so that you're greedy and selfish with it, but so that you're actually more abundantly giving with it. Do you understand what that is? You need to understand, okay, when I'm asking you to consistently connect every day, go out live and talk to the people, minimum of 5 days a week. Okay, if you do less than 3 a week, it's pointless to start, because algorithmically it's not going to do you any good. And you really need to do a minimum of 5. Pick up the phone, 15 seconds to 15 hours. Okay, whatever. Start off with, hi, my name is, this is what I do. And here's the one thing I want to tell you today. I started off with a little preamble hook that I wrote. I changed it up like live, literally, from what's written over here on this other screen to what I actually ended up saying to you at the beginning, because I felt inspired. And then I'm just sharing with you. I've got notes over here. The only time I've looked at the notes is when I was referring over here to my little preamble screen, because I just want to give you. I want to be here for you. I want to ask you the question, how can I help you today? And I want to show you that I mean it by showing up and helping you today. Whether it be little things like talking about, like I did just a minute ago, about needing to understand the places that you don't want to just leave people stuck, but you want to move them forward. You don't want to just drop a bomb into somebody's life and then just let the bomb tick tick explode in their life and then they're left just ruined and lying on the floor and they're stuck, caught in the grief of something that you've had the time to work through, but you didn't give them the time to take that in, to breathe for a minute, to know that it was okay, and to move forward in the story. They end up stuck back there. Sometimes you're going to find, here's another nugget for you in case you're, you know, need it put more clearly for you. And that's this. What you're going to find often is the reason why your talks, whether it be a podcast or a live in stage or, whatever it might be, the reason why your talks aren't landing is because you say something. And there's several angles of this. It could be something that really sparks a person's imagination. And so they're now thinking about that thing and they don't hear the rest of it, which is actually in a way a good thing. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But you need to also understand you lost them. They're now off on a tangent, thinking about the thing they're thinking about, not about what the rest of you are talking about. All too often, what we do is we drop a bomb into somebody. We say something harsh, difficult, whatever, and that person is left in the grief of that thing that we've worked through it. You've had the days, weeks, months, years, decades to work through that trauma. And so when you tell them that thing, you can say it, sometimes even matter of factly. It just is one of those kind of things. You know, you talk about this horrible, awful thing that happened in your life, and you say it nonchalantly, like you said, and then I woke up, and then I inhaled one more time, and it's that inconsequential because you've come through it, but you leave them in the trauma of that, and they can't move forward. They can't hear what you're saying because they're stuck there. You got to understand and gently move them through that trauma to the solution. Now, worse yet is when you spark a trauma that's a mutually shared trauma. I had this happen. I learned this one in real time with a book we were writing, and it was an intense book. Okay, I'm not gonna, in any way con you. This book, this wonderful lady was sharing in depth, not the specific, gross graphic depictions of what was happening, but in depth, the gut wrenching after effect of having been sexually molested as a child. And I want to make sure I'm gonna sew that one up for you because I don't want to leave you there. Okay. She is such an amazing powerhouse of a woman. She has come so far and now has a whole, it's a company, but it's really a ministry. It's a movement to reach out to young girls like that are still stuck in that place that she spent. And she was in like her late 30s or early 40s before she got the healing that she needed in that situation. And she now works with, girls 16 to 25 ish, typically helping them face to face that extreme trauma and then learn the healing mechanism, learn how to forgive that person, not because that person deserves their forgiveness, but because you have to understand the power of forgiveness is that it releases the chain you wrapped around yourself. The worst part of a traumatizer is they traumatize you and then they move on. It has no negative impact on them at all. No matter how horribly awful, rotten the thing was. And oh my gosh, have I worked with some people on some really, really icky stuff. The worst of that whole thing is the next day for them, they were fine. You're left shattered on the floor. I talked about this on Sunday about, some of the deep, intense pains from my second divorce and how just completely ruined and shattered as a person I was. And about, then going through that and then being totally by myself. And then also in addition to that, COVID. And so I was locked in the house, just me and my dog. And that was what life was like then. But I didn't stay there. In fact, it became a phoenix moment for me where I came out of that. And that little tiny dying ember of a spark inside of me, that really not existing life that was in me, came back to life. And that's why I shared that with you on Sunday. Feel free to go back and watch it, because the mercy that met you in the dark is still here for you today. But I can tell you that, that lady that was writing about her trauma, I sent it to an editor, and it was actually an editor. There was a person that was working for me, and her daughter needed some work and had a bachelor's degree in English in literature or something like that. So she, was the kind of person you look for when you're looking for, a grammar editor. And she said, hey, my daughter could use some work. Can we send this particular book? Do you have a project? She didn't actually specifically say that specific book. Do you have a project she could work on? And I said, yeah, sure. I've got this book. I didn't know anything about her past. And I heard back actually through her mom. She didn't. I mean, she just quit. And I was like, did we offend her? Did we not offer to pay enough? What was wrong? And her mom was like, no, she's willing to do another book, but she absolutely just can't do this book. It's going to be a couple of weeks. It massively traumatized her and brought back a whole bunch of things that are from her past that I really didn't even know she was dealing with. And as her mom, I've been trying to help her with some of those things, and she's going to need to take the next several weeks to deal with that. Had no idea. But when we write those things, or when we speak those things, people that have been through that same thing, they can get stuck in your book, in your talk, in your whatever. It could even be in your post, in the trauma of their own that brings up. And you need to learn how to, and that's where that story developer comes in so wonderfully, is they help you be able to look at that and say it in such a way so that it comes in with the love, with the big hug that comes along with it. Because when somebody's shattered and ruined and crying in front of you, what are you going to do? Be like, can't believe you're crying. Wasn't that big of a deal. I got over it. Get over it. No. You're going to wrap your arms around them, just hold them, and just let them sob. You might even cry with them, remembering some of the stuff you've been through. You see, how can I help you today is 360. It's holistic. It is complete. When your heart, soul, spirit, everything screams out to the world, how can I help you today? When you're looking for connection, the 3 C's: clarity, consistency, connection. When you are on a mission to connect, when it is the heart and soul and core and the very heartbeat of who you are and what you do, and you can't let anything less than absolutely that happen, people are going to start feeling that. When it's really, truly what's in your heart, when you're not just sharing a meme that says, how can I help you today? Hey, I'd like to know, how can I help you today? And when you're not trivial with it, when you really internalize it. I spent a lot of time with the book. I wrote the book. I was telling everybody this yesterday on the live. Wrote the book and it totally challenged me. Spent the next year, this whole entire last year, challenged from every corner. Do I really mean that? Am I really willing to give when people are really willing to take? Do I really believe in giving? Is that something that I mean and I believe in and that's part of who I am? Or is it just some BS that I just threw out? You see, I would have rather never release this book than have it not be genuine. Are there times when I fall short? Absolutely. Are there times when I don't feel like or don't have the ability to give? Absolutely. And you're going to be there too. Okay, it's just like if you relate it to money, which is such a teeny piece of of you of being a big giver. But if you related it to money, okay, that there's such a thing as, and I go into detail about, can you give away everything that you have? And there are times for that. But most of the time in life is, life, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is not asking you to sell all your houses and land and give it to the poor. What they're usually asking you is to take the couple $100 you've got in your pocket right now and give it to somebody. To say yes. There's this incredibly cool organization, and I wish I would have looked them up. I didn't even think about them. It's a veteran-run organization that helps veterans, and I was in a networking group. I'm not a veteran. My son is a veteran, and my brother that I live with, they're both veterans. But I was invited by a very good friend of mine. He said, "No, we need you in this. We need you to help us face some of the traumas and the stories, and encourage us to share those stories. We need your heart, your soul, and your spirit." I was just living, how can I help you today? And he knew that about me. It wasn't that I had written that book or had any thought of it. And somebody came in, and I think they were only there maybe once or twice, and they were talking about a nonprofit they were running. And I really wish I had it in front of me, because I'd totally tell you their name. But they were telling me about the nonprofit they were running, telling the group, and they said, hey, anybody that wants to, the way we have our donations set up, we're just asking $10 a month. We would rather have 1,000 people, or preferably 100,000 people, pay $10 a month than to have one person give us $1 million. And here's all the cool things we're doing for veterans and stuff. And I immediately, he put the link in at the end of his talk. The way that particular networking meeting worked, everybody went about 3 minutes. Each person, during COVID when it started, there was a lot of people in that call, and so 3 minutes per person, without anybody going over, meant we were, in there for like 2 hours. And there were times when a lot of people did go over, and we were in there for 3 hours. All right. He dropped a link, and I clicked on the link right then and went and made that deposit for $10. That was during COVID. So that was about 5 years ago. It might have been towards the tail end of COVID. So it might've been 4 years ago. Okay. I'm not looking at the receipts right now. I don't care. It's $10. When I don't have the $10 in cash, I will most definitely find $10 on a credit card. I've never had to do it, but I would borrow the $10 from my mom or my brother to help these people. See, that's the spirit of a giver. It's not about, giving your last $10, although sometimes it may be, but it's about seeing a need and reaching out to it. I remember back in the day when I was a single parent of 5 kids, some of you have heard that story before, and I would have people that were asking me for help. And about the only 2 things that I could do was, and I always kept, back then, we didn't have the internet. It was before the days of the internet. And, so I would have a literal Rolodex, address book of help places. And I'm like, I don't have any, I've got 5 kids of my own that I'm feeding, so I don't have any ability to help you with groceries. But, here is, and in some of those sections, I had multiples of the cards. If not, I would write down the information. Here's the information for, a food bank that's open 24/7 that, they'll help you out right now. And if you call them from right here where you are, they will most definitely bring food to you here or to your family, and that's how you can give. You give what you have, what you can. You work I was, along with running my company, I was working as assistant manager at Domino's Pizza. And I'd be like, yeah, this homeless person comes in and they have the guts, which it didn't have. You would think it happened a ton, but it really didn't. It happened almost, I can think of twice in the year and a half that I worked there, that, somebody came in and said, I'm really, really starving. Is there any way, you could give me something to eat? I would absolutely pay for their pizza. As the manager, I could just pay just cost or, cost plus, employee discount rate, whatever it was. Don't even remember anymore. Hand them a small or a medium pizza. You know, if we had, and we often did, pizzas would get messed up. A delivery driver would come back. And of course the crew loved it when that happened because they would eat it. But sometimes we'd have sitting on top of the pizza oven a pizza that had been made wrong. And I'd just reach up there and hand that to them. That one we didn't have to pay for. And very often, on a busy night, we would have that. Wasn't that we did it that often, but we could have. Think of all the people you can help with wherever you are with whatever you do. If you just share your voice, because if you want to be visible, you've got to be where you can be visible. And if you want to be valuable, you need to be of value. And that starts in your heart. It starts with your heartbeat. Do you connect because you genuinely want to connect? And then are you doing it consistently because you genuinely care? And then are you speaking? Are you picking up your phone, using your prompt? Here's our prompt in case you haven't ever caught it before. The prompt is this: Hi, my name is, and what I do is, and what I'd like to tell you today is, whatever that thing is. Hey, what I'd like to tell you today is I don't really feel very well, and I'm really run down, but I wanted you to know I care. You can steal the phrase. See, if you say this with heart, you can totally steal the phrase that is the book. You can give them the book for free. They can go to Amazon and get the copy of the book for free themselves today. The link's in the description. I'll drop it here again just in case. You can get How Can I Help You Today? You can give it away to every single person you know. Hey, you know what? Here's what I'd like to do for you for free today. I'd like to give you a free book. Friend me, get to know me. You can give people lots of free books because I'm doing it constantly. Not just my books, but all the more more qualified than me, amazing people that I have the honor of getting to work with. But it starts from that basic question: How can I help you today? It's not just a question, it's a calling. It's a beckoning to you. You see, on Sunday, we talked about the mercy that met you in the dark, that carried you when you had nothing left to give, that brought you forward to this beautiful, wonderful thing called today. That mercy that was there for you was also there because it wanted you to be able to be the beacon that passed it on to the people that are beyond you, the people that are going behind you. They may be right behind. They may be grabbed a hold of the back of your belt buckle because they can't see it all. Even though you've got a little tiny beacon of light that you're going towards, they don't see it. Their eyes can't perceive the path that you now feel under you. Maybe you've got a flashlight. Maybe they're blind and can't see it all. And we start with our clarity of just simply saying, do I care? And if I do care, what am I meant to do? And who am I meant to do that for? And then am I doing it consistently? And then do it consistently because back around, because I care. Clarity, consistency, connection. How can I help you today? How can I help you be clear, consistent, and connect? You see, you can go to the Amazon link that I've dropped a couple of times and get the book for free today. Absolutely, I hope you will. You can go to askstevekid.com, get on my schedule. I'd love to talk to you. That's a free link that'll allow you to be able to talk to me about whatever you need to. Or you can post. You can post to me today and you can say, help. You can say, I'm not clear right now. I need to be. Help me, please. HELP, help. I want to help you. I want to show you how you can be the beacon of light for somebody else. And that starts by you getting clear. And that's me saying to you today, how can I help you today? Because it is my calling and it's your calling too. And I hope that you will ask just one person. Here's your challenge for the day. Just one person, ask them, how can I help you today? And then, yes, please do. Drop the word help and let me help you. I'm here for you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that you were here. Thanks so much for being who you are. Until we're together again next time, have a great week.